now, but the smoke from Canada wildfires still hanging over major parts of the Midwest. Joining us now is the president and co-founder of the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, Craig Rucker. Also with us is the host of the Charbonne Report from Canada, Michael Charbonne. Welcome to you both. Michael, I want to start with you. A question we've actually talked about on this network before. President Trump took to Truth Social, calling out Canada, saying in a post, Canada has refused to engage in basic forest management and debris removal, knowing that such refusal will lead to exactly this result. This is willful negligence and becoming a yearly occurrence, costing the U.S. billions of dollars, which costs of the pollution must of necessity be added to the tariffs Canada is currently paying. So the question is, what's your reaction to the president's statement? Do you think that, first of all, do you take blame for the fires? And do you think the president's right to call Canada out? And are tariffs the answer?
So first of all, Ambassador Hoekstra said that Donald Trump is considering to charge 10% tariff on top of our already existing 25% tariff on multiple levels. And it's an unfortunate circumstance. I mean, let's understand that this is an act of God. And this is not private land that is burning. This is wild land. This is wildlife, wild forest. I mean, we've had between 6.9 and 14,000 million acres that have been set afire. I don't think it's fair to enjoin the two things. Both Canada and America's economy, as a result of the tariffs, have had negative effect. We're both feeling it. I mean, there's 1 million people a month that go to food banks in Canada. The fire is not something that we want, nor did anybody in California in 2025 when California was burning. And to talk about forest management is a difficult circumstance because, as I said, this is crown land. This is not private land. But we're feeling it as much as America's feeling it. As we discussed previously at one point, when I went outside, I looked up, I saw the sun being red. And in Greek trilogies, it says when the sun or the moon is red, it's a catastrophe and it's Armageddon. So we're feeling it as well. And believe me, we don't want the fires any more than anyone else does. But final point, I think we should get together and fund water bombers that would be able to help the people in California and any time that it happens in Canada. And I would say we apologize, but we don't want it. We don't want it either.
Yeah. Well, Craig, curious to get your perspective on this issue because your organization has long argued that radical environmental policies, or really the lack thereof, actually makes forests less safe. So how have these policies, both the United States and Canada, prevented some of the proper fire prevention measures like, say, timber harvesting and brush clearing that maybe could have prevented some of these fires?
Really, this has been going on for decades right now. You know, first off, I'd like to say wildfires are not uncommon. I mean, they date back in history. So,
right.
You know, Canada routinely gets somewhere around 3,000 to 6,000 wildfires every year. I think there's 800 plus going on right now. This is also not some sort of global apocalypse. To be fair, Carney went against and kind of blamed Trump, saying it was climate measures and lack of trying to deal with climate that may be contributing to this, and said that part of his solution was more wind farms up in Canada. This follows off of environmental minister in France saying that Trump was to blame for their heat wave because of our air conditioning, you know, not being out of control in the United States. So this has been going on back and forth for a while. I think that the prescribed burns, the various things that have been done to manage the forest have been neglected going back to the 1980s. And as a result of that, we're seeing, yes, fewer fires, but they're actually having more impact in terms of acreage. So that speaks to the fact that there's more fuel load going into the forest and a need for actually trying to go against the environmental policies of just letting nature take its course, but having active stewardship of our forest reserves.
Yeah, it's definitely something we have to look at here. Both Canada and the United States, they need to work in tandem, but we'll see what happens. Craig Rucker and Michael Charbonne, thank you both.